हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाय नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शङ्करं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यतीश्वरं भाष्यभ्रान्तिहरं वन्दे शुद्धज्ञानैकबोधकम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। We'll begin with the Shanti mantra. ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक् प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत्। अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेयोपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम्. We will chant two mantras of the 14th section. Yatha somya purusham gandharebhyah abhinnaddhakshamaniya tam tatoti jane vishrujyet sa yatha tatra prangva udanva adharanva pratyangva pradmaitabhinaddhaksha Anito abhinnaddhaksho vishrushtah tasya yathavi nahanam pramuchya prabhruyad etam disham gandhara etam disham vrajediti sa gramad graman pruchan pandito medhavi gandharaneva upasampadyet evameva iha acharyavan purusho veda tasya tavadeva chiram yavanna vimokshe atha sampatsya iti. So the teacher Uddalaka Muni reveals the highest teaching of the Upanishad in the Mahavakya Tattvamasi. After pointing out that Brahma through the world and also pointing out the Atma through the Sushupti Avastha, the teacher then tells Shvetaketu that you are that Brahma, Tattvamasi, you are that. But this is so wonderful, so amazing truth that one takes time to comprehend it. So Shvetaketu also had some doubts, which the teacher clarifies, giving various examples. So the self, which is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, which is we become one with that self. I, the separate entity who I experience myself as a separate entity in the waking and in dream, I become one with that Sat in deep sleep. There remains no division of any kind. But even when I become one with Sat, at that time, I don't recognize that I have become one with Sat, that I am this Sat Brahma. At that time, I don't recognize. Also, when I wake up from my deep sleep and I think about it, I don't remember or I don't understand that I have come from Sat. And that my individuality, which is defined through my Sthula Sharir and Sukshma Sharir, it doesn't get destroyed in deep sleep, nor does it get destroyed in death, nor does it get destroyed in pralay. So as long as I have ignorance of my own supreme self, this limited entity remains. So I continue to understand or assume myself to be a limited jiva with a sense of doership, enjoyership, knowership. So the jiva doesn't die with the death of the body or when we go to sleep or in pralaya. Though it becomes one with that sat in deep sleep. And from that sat alone, this entire world has come into manifestation. Just as from a tiny little seed, a huge tree comes into manifestation. So that Sat is present in this world, Sat is present in this body, Sat is present everywhere. So why don't we recognize that Sat? So the teacher, with the example of the salt and the water, indicates that though that salt was present in that water, but it was not available for the eyes, nor was it available for touch. But with the help of tongue, one can gain the understanding that yes, the salt is present in water. So, with the right means, we can gain proper knowledge. In the same way, though Brahma is present in this world and Brahma is present in this body, but I fail to recognize that Brahma with worldly means of pratyaksha, anuman, upaman, arthapatti, with these pramanas, I cannot comprehend that Brahma. So we need some other praman to recognize my own identity properly. And what is the other means? And how one comes to know oneself? That the teacher now reveals with the help of this example. So, this very beautiful example is given that a person who stays in Gandhar, Gandhar is in Afghanistan now, which is called Kandahar now. So, person residing in this Gandhar, he is kidnapped by some thieves, and he is taken to a very far away, secluded place, and he is left there. He is blindfolded, his hands were tied, legs were tied, and he was taken to a very far off place and left alone there. Then he calls for help. Remaining blindfolded, he calls for help. And luckily, one person heard him calling for help. So he comes, he unties him, removes his blindfold. Then this person tells him that I am from Gandhar and I want to go back to Gandhar. I have been brought here forcefully and I want to go back to Gandhar. So please guide me. So this person gives him the direction. You go in this direction, you walk in this direction, and you will reach Gandhar. So this person who is Pandito Medhavi, a very intelligent person, he goes from one village to another village asking, taking guidance, and finally reaches Gandhar. So in the same way, one who has proper guide will reach the final destination of enlightenment. So Acharyavan Purusho Veda. And how long it will take to become one with that Sat? कि तस्य तावदेव चिरम यावन्न विमोक्षे अथ संपत्स्य iti. As long as this body is there, we as though remain in this body, expressing through this body. But as soon as the prarabdha of this body is over, the body gets dropped and we become one with that Sat Brahma. So this is the example given here. And it has many details to be understood, which we can comprehend with the help of Adi Shankaracharya's Bhashya. So let us read the Bhashya and understand this beautiful example. So Shankaracharya writes, for the first mantra he says, कि यथा लोके हि सौम्य पुरुषं यं कश्चित् गंधारेभ्यो जनपदेभ्यः अभिनद्धाक्षं बद्धचक्षुम् आनीय द्रव्यहतां तस्करः तम् अभिनद्धाक्षमेव बद्धहस्तम् अरण्ये ततो अपि अतिजने अतिगत जने अत्यंत विगत जने देशे विसृज्येत स तत्र दिग्भ्रम उपेतः यथा प्राङ् वा प्रागञ्चनः प्राङ्मुखो वा इत्यर्थः. Shankaracharya writes the details of this story. Ki just as in this world, a person who is from Gandhara Desh, he is caught hold of by some thieves, and he is blindfolded and he is tied. Baddha chakshu maniya dravya hatan. All his wealth is looted. Tashkaraha, by these thieves. And tam abhinnadhaksham eva, and tying him. Baddha hastaha, even baddha hastam, even tying his hands. They bring him to a very secluded place, ati gata jane, where nobody is there, totally secluded place. As I had mentioned that this Gandhara is a very deserted area, place, lots of sand dunes and little mountains, no proper vegetation. From this place he is brought to a far off place, again very secluded place, and he shouts for help in all directions, east, west, north, south. He shouts for help, blindfolded, thoroughly confused, scared, miserable, shouts for help. And he says that I have been brought here and I have been left here blindfolded. So abhinnadhakshoham gandharebhyah taskarenanitaha. I have been brought from Gandhar by these thieves and blindfolded I have been left here. So he's shouting, calling for help. And by chance, a person was passing by and he comes and rescues him. So tasya tathabi nahanam yatha bandhanam pramuchya moktva karunikah kaschid etam disham uttarato gandhara etam disham vrajeti prabhruyat. So a very compassionate person who doesn't have anything to gain from this person, who doesn't have anything to lose, who himself was free, who himself had eyes to see around, who knew the place, who knew where this Gandhar Desh is. So such a person happened to be there and he unties him, removes his blindfold and shows him one direction. So Disham Uttarataha, the northern direction, Shankaracharya says, he shows the north direction and says you walk in this direction and you will come to Gandhar. So Uttarataha, Gandhara etam disham rajeti prabhruyat. So he gave that direction. See, as I said, that in a very secluded place, in a desert, where the whole place is so very harsh, where water is extremely scarce, and if one is left alone there, then without a proper guide, there is a very less chance of that person really surviving and reaching his destination. There are certain places which are there in the desert where there is some water, oases and all are there. But to recognize them also we need some guide. And one may, if one is not very intelligent to understand the directions, then one will get very badly lost. So we should have proper understanding of these four cardinal directions: east, west, north, south. So during the day, by observing the movement of the sun and noticing the shadow, the movement of the shadow, one can understand the direction east and west, and from that we can derive other directions, north, south, etc. At night, the people there, they take help of the stars. So we have this north star or pole star, which remains stable, which the position of that star never changes. It is directly above the North Pole. So from that North Star also one comes to know how far away from North Pole, how much nearer the South we are. So understanding this direction is very important, and also where exactly is my location and how far it is. All this has to be understood. So this person tells him that Gandhar Desh is in the northern direction. You keep moving there. So Vrajet Bruyat Sa Eva Karunikena Bandhan Mokshitaha. So this compassionate person who released him from all bondage and showed him the direction. Gramat Gramantaram Pruchan. He asking, even after going in that direction, one may get a little lost. So on the way also we can ask other people who are there. So he moved from one village to another village, asking those people and getting fresh direction from them. He moved ahead. So here the qualities, adjectives are given of this person. Pandita, Pandito Medhavi. Pandito means Upadeshavan, who listens to Upadesh, who has got the ability to ask and listen to Upadesh. And Medhavi, Medhavi means one who has got the ability to understand the direction. Because the person who is giving direction, he might not accompany you. So from wherever he is, he gives the direction. So one should have the ability to comprehend the direction properly, comprehend the those cardinal directions, and also the distance, etc., which is given. And that ability is called Medhavi. A person has got that ability to comprehend. So Paropadishta Grama Pravesham Grama Pravesha Margavadharana Samartha. So ability to comprehend the direction. See, otherwise what happens, a person gives direction, but still we get lost. Even in the cities and in the other places, we try to go to a particular place, we ask for direction, and if we don't understand the direction properly, or if that person is not giving proper directions, sometimes left and right, we get confused. Person also shows his hand to the right and talks that you go take a left turn and all. So we get confused. So the person showing the direction should be proper, and one who is listening to direction should understand it properly. Then only we will be able to reach our destination. So San Gandharan eva upasampadhyeta. Then finally he reaches Gandhar. He alone will be able to reach Gandhar. Shankaracharya writes, Ki na itaraha, others who are mudhamati, who are foolish, who do not have the ability to comprehend the direction. The person is showing with his finger a particular direction, and we are focusing on that person or looking at his finger. Just by staring at his finger, we will not know. We have to look in the direction where the finger is pointing. Because there is the limitation of his hand, limitation of his finger. The finger cannot touch the destination, but it can give the general direction. and we should transcend the finger and move in that direction. In the same way, a teacher, with the help of words from the scriptures, give the direction. If one gets totally attached to the words themselves, if one doesn't understand the direction properly, because the words show us in which direction we should move, in which direction our thoughts should move, in which direction our awareness should move. And then we should move in that direction. So we have to comprehend it properly. So if a person is foolish, means doesn't have that viveka, then that person will not be able to reach the destination. Again, Shankaracharya writes, कि देशांतर दर्शन वृंगवा darshana trungva. He says that if a person is interested to do sightseeing, if a person is not having that total vairagya, if he has got this interest to look here, there, go for sightseeing and all, such a person will not be able to reach the destination. Even when the teacher points out that Supreme Self to us, that Sat Brahma, we have to move in that direction through our thinking, meditation. But if we are interested in pleasures, if we are interested in gaining some other results in this world or in the other world, if we don't have enough vairagya, then we will not be able to attain our goal. So just as this person reached his destination of Gandhara after taking proper guidance, Shankaracharya writes that same thing happens in the path of spirituality. He says, कि यथा अयम दृष्टान्तः वर्णितः, just as this example is given here, कि स्वविषयेभ्यो गन्धारेभ्यः पुरुषः तस्करैः अभिनद्धाक्षः, just as this person who is being brought by the thieves and who was totally confused, avivekah, he was thoroughly confused. And digmudaha, confused regarding direction. He did not know which is east, which is west, which is north, which is south. Also, he did not know in which direction is that my place, Gandhar. Should I move towards the north? Should I move towards east? Because he was blindfolded, so he did not know whether he was taken to north or south or east or west. So he was totally confused regarding the direction. It is called digmudaha. And having taken so far away from his place, and for so many hours or so he was there blindfolded. So he was hungry and thirsty also. So ashanaya pipasadi man, lots of hunger and thirst, and the climate is so harsh that one becomes very thirsty and no water around. So ashanaya pipasadi man, vyaghrataskaradi, and there are wild animals or other thieves also might be there in the desert. So aneka bhayan, and filled with lot of fear. Aneka bhayan artha vrata yutam, anartha Vratayutam, and with lot of other calamities and obstacles and hardship. This person is there, Aranyam Praveshitaha, is there in the desert, Dukkhartaha, filled with sorrow, Vikroshan, lamenting, shouting for help, Bandhanebhyo Mumukshuhu, want to become free from this bondage and want to go back to his home. स कथंचित एव कारुणिकेन केनचित् मोहितः स्वदेशान् गंधारान् एव आपन्नः निवृत्तः सुखी अभूत. So he was saved by a compassionate person, and finally he reaches Gandhar and he becomes happy. In the same way, we are also as though taken away from our own home. See, our Supreme Self, which is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma only, it is like our home. And we have been taken away from this home due to avidya and due to adhyas. We are as though far away from our own home. And only by reaching our home we will become completely peaceful and happy, because that is where all our happiness is there. So evam eva satah jagat atma swarupat tejobannadi mayam deharanyam. Shankaracharya says, this deha itself is like a aranya, it's like a desert, it's like a forest in which we are caught up. Satah jagat atma swarupat tejavanyadimayam deharanyam. So this deha, which is the expression of that sat only, and this body which is made up of fire, water, earth, etc. This is like a forest or a desert, and we are totally suffer in this body. Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Rudhira, Medho, Mamsa, Asti, Majja, Shukra, Krumi, Mutra, Purisha, Vat. With all these different parts of this body, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and all the blood and fat and muscles and bones and bone marrows and all these other parts of this body, semen and krimi, mutra, purisha, urine and excreta and all, shitoshnadi aneka dvanva sukha dukkhavat idam, and filled with lot of sorrows of heat and cold, and joys and sorrows, pleasure and pain. This is the forest. So here Shankaracharya is vividly describing in more detail. So just as that person was brought from that Gandhara Desh, we are also as though brought away from our own home, which is Sat Brahma, into this body, which is filled with all sorts of pain and all parts and all, giving lot of sorrow to us. And we are also blindfolded. And what is our blindfold? He says, Moha patabhinadaksho. We are blindfolded as though with moha pata, with a cloth of moha, delusion. Ignorance creates delusion, means confusion, wrong understanding, misunderstanding. That itself is moha. Misunderstanding about ourselves, misunderstanding about this world, misunderstanding about that Ishvara, misunderstanding about the path which will take us back home, misunderstanding about our kartavya, misunderstanding about everything. So that is the moha pata, abhinnabdhakshaha, blindfolded with this delusion, this cloth of delusion, and because of which we have this notion bharya, putra, mitra, pashu, bandhavadi, drishta aneka vishaya trishna, pashitaha, attachment to our husband, wife, children, relatives, friends, animals, birds, wealth, etc. And who has taken us away from this? Who takes us away from our own home? Shankaracharya says, Punya punyadi tashkaraihi praveshitaha. The thieves of punya and apunya, punya and papa, we perform actions. Sometimes we follow the path of good, so punya karma, or we do some papa. So punya and papa we keep doing, and this punya and papa takes us away from our own swarupa. Punya takes us towards sukha of this world and other world, and papa takes us towards dukkha of this world and other world. And we remain away from our own home of Sat, Brahma. So punya punyadi tashkaraihi praveshitaha. And because of this, these thieves of punya and apunya, we have these notions. Aham amushya putraha, that I am the son of this person. Mamaite bandavaha, these are my relatives. Sukhi aham, I am happy. Dukhi aham, I am unhappy. Moodaha, panditaha, dharmikaha. Bandhuman, I am foolish, or I am very intelligent. I am a very dharmic person. I have relatives. I am born, jataha, mrutaha, I will die, I have become old, I am a papi, I am a sinner, putro me, he is my son, or I am the son of this person, mrutaha, putro me mrutaha, my son has died, dhanam me nashtam, my wealth is lost, ha, hatosmi, oh alas, I have been destroyed. Katham jivishyami, how will I live? Kame gatihi, what is my destination? Where will I reach? What will happen to me? Kim me tranam, who will save me? Who is going to rescue me from all this suffering? In this way, I suffer in this world, remaining identified with this body, taken away from my own home of Sat Brahma, blindfolded by delusion. So, such a person, this is the story of every one of us. This is the biography of all of us who are in this samsara. And we are totally lost in this world, but rare few become free of this samsara. And who are they? Shankaracharya writes further, iti evam aneka shata sahasranartha jalavan vikroshan. So in this way, this person with infinite calamities and hardships and caught up in this mesh and crying for help, such a person Kathanchid eva punyatishaya. Here the Shankaracharya writes कि by chance means not by chance but because of our punya, because of our good merits, we come across some person who guides us. We gain satsang. Satsang we get only because of our punya karma. Punya punja pinu milai na santa. Without punya punja, we cannot meet a saint. It is not possible. All other worldly things we get through our other karmas. But if we want to meet a saint, if we want to meet a teacher, that is possible only with punya karma. With punya karma only, even Bhagwan becomes very pleased with us. And when Bhagwan is pleased with us, he gives us satsang. See, normally when we have little bit of punya, we gain worldly happiness, or with more punya we go to swarga. With papa we get worldly sorrows, and with more papa we go to naraka. But if we have vishesh punya, then we get blessings of Bhagwan, and he blesses us with satsang. Binu satsang vivek na hoi, Ram kripa binu sulabh na soi. Without Ram kripa, we cannot have satsang. So Shankaracharya writes that such a miserable person who is tortured and tormented in this samsara, but due to his punya karma, kathanchid eva punyati shayat, because of the lot of punya, parama karunikam kaschit, he comes across a supremely compassionate person. He comes across a teacher, a saint, an enlightened person who is completely compassionate. Compassionate means one who loves everyone without any expectation, and blesses everyone without having any expectation of anything in return. That is the karuna. Not only saints they have this karuna, but Ishvara also has this karuna. That is his most beautiful quality. Ahaituka karuna sindhu. Bhagwan is karuna sindhu, the very ocean of compassion, who blesses us. So kathanchit eva punyatishayat parama karunikam, supremely compassionate, kaschit sad brahmatma vidam, some person, a saint who is brahmatma vidam, who has got the knowledge of the oneness of Atma and Brahma, who has got the understanding that I am Atma Brahma, I am that Brahma. I am not this limited body, mind, intellect. I am not a limited being. I am that supreme Brahma, one who has got that knowledge. Vimukta bandhanam, who himself is free from all bondage. Who himself is free from all bondage. Brahmishtham, who is well established in that Brahma. Yada sadhayati, one comes to meet such a person, one gains such a person, one meets such a person. This is the satsang. Without this satsang, we will never know the right direction to move in this life. Because those who don't take guidance from the saints and sages, And those who don't take guidance from the Shastras, they take guidance from their own kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsar. These are the taskaras, which are the thieves which are hidden in our own mind. They guide us. इधर से चले जाओ. They give wrong directions. They give us direction by which, when we move in that direction, we become more and more miserable and we get more and more entangled in this desert. Without water, without food, people, when they get lost in the desert, it's extremely miserable life. And they just lie down on that scorching sand with a scorching sun on top, thirsty, hungry, tired, miserable, and just die there. Similarly, in this samsara, if we don't get proper satsang, then we will just move and will try to go towards some illusory oasis. Like it appears as though there is water, but when we reach there, there is no water, running after some mirage waters. So Shankaracharya writes, keep only by punya karma we will have that opportunity to meet a saint, an enlightened person, a Sadguru. And then what happens? Then the Sadguru guides us. He says, Tena cha Brahma Vida Karunyat Darshita Samsara Vishe Dosha Darshana Margaha Viraktaha Samsara Vishebhyaha. The first thing which happens when we meet a saint and when we do satsang is that we gain vairagya. Satsangatve nitsangatvam. We gain vairagya. The saint, the sadhu, is one who takes our mind away from the worldly pleasures and worldly entanglements. One who puts us into the world and makes us more and more involved with the world that is not a satsang, that is not the effect of satsang. If we are not gaining vairagya through satsang, if we have not gained vairagya, if through satsang our mind has not shifted away from the worldly pleasures and worldly gains, not only worldly gains but also other worldly gains and other worldly pleasures, if our mind has shifted from there even little bit, then know that we have done satsang. Without satsang, this is not possible. Binu satsanga viveka na hoi. So through satsang we gain vivek and we gain vairagya. Satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischalatatvam, nischalatatve jivan muktihi. And through satsang only, finally we gain jivan mukti. So this compassionate teacher, Tena cha Brahmavida Karunyat Darshita Samsara Vishaya Dosha Darshana Margaha. He shows the defect of the pleasures of this world. That if you get involved in the worldly pleasures, means worldly pursuits, whether it is pursuits of wealth, whether it is pursuit of power, or whether it is pursuit of pleasure, it will tie us miserably in this samsara. People go to various even spiritual organizations and all and get tied up there in power and power politics, becoming some presidents, secretaries and all, and they remain there tied. They had gone to become free and become more and more bound. get tied up in the mesh of powers, in the mesh of wealth, in the mesh of pleasures. Kama, Krodha, Lobha. So, Kama, various types of pleasures. Lobha, greed for more and more wealth. And if that is not gained, then they get angry, frustrated, irritated. So then understand that satsang is not happening. And if satsang is not happening, then dutsanga must be happening. Through satsang, we gain vairagya. All our attachment just drops. We come to see vividly the drawbacks of worldly pursuits. So Vishaya dosha darshana margaha viraktaha samsara vishebhya. He become totally virakta from samsara vishay. This is the one aspect of satsang. Another aspect of satsang, because once we gain vivek, once we gain that vairagya, then the teacher points out the right direction. When you have to show direction to a person, we have to withdraw his attention from wrong directions and show him the right direction. In a desert, when a person is looking in a wrong direction and want to move in the wrong direction, the person, the compassionate person, guide, he withdraws his attention from that and he shows him. He says, if you go in this direction, you will become more and more miserable. There is no water, there is no food, and your destination is not there. So you will definitely get totally destroyed and suffer and die. So don't go in that direction, but take this path. And this path will take you to your Desh, Gandhara. This path will take you to your destination of enlightenment. So Upadesha, so the teacher tells, Nasi twam samsari. He says, you are not a samsari. Oh my dear person, you are not a samsari jiva. You are not this body, mind, intellect, and one who considers himself as this limited being, as a jiva, karta, bhokta, jnata. Na asi tvam samsari amushya putratvadi dharmavan. That I am the son of so and so, I am a husband of that person, I have a wife or children, I am the son, what you call father, mother. All these worldly relationships we have with respect to our identity with this body, considering ourselves as a man or a woman or a young or old. So the teacher tells you are not this. This is a false identity of yourself, and which we experience when we go to sleep. That is what I am. There is no body, there are no relatives. I am not a son or father or mother or daughter or anything. I am that Sat Brahma alone. So the teacher in the waking state itself gives this knowledge. Ki na asi tvam samsari amushya putratvadi dharmavan. So you are not this. Then who are you? Kim tarhi? He says, Sat Tat Tattvamasi. You are that Sat Brahma. Tattvamasi. That you are. So this knowledge the teacher gives. This is the direction. The teacher gives us the direction in which we have to move our thinking, we have to move our contemplation, and we have to move our awareness and gain abidance in this reality. The teacher shows us the path. Teacher cannot physically accompany us. Teacher cannot The teacher gives us Ashirvad also. He says, you move, my blessings are there, but we have to walk alone on that path. So, Sat Tattvamasi iti avidya moha patabhi nahanat mokshito. So, when we come to understand this and follow this path shown by the teacher, we become free of this moha, we become free of this avidya. Our blindfold is removed. Avidya moha patabhinahana abhinahanat mokshito. Our blindfold gets removed, so all the directions become clear to us. See, when we approach a teacher through Shravan and Manan, our blindfold gets removed. And through Niridhyasam, we walk that path and reach our destination. So, teacher removes our blindfold. But walking we have to do ourselves. Walking we have to do ourselves. Shravan and Manan. But Nididhyasan we have to do ourselves. The teacher only guides. So iti avidya moha patabhihanat mokshito gandhara purushavat. So just as this gandhara purush who reached his destination, so I also reached my destination with the guidance of my teacher. So swam sadat manam upasampadya, I come to realize my Sat Atma, that Sat Atma, Atma as Brahma. And having attained that Atma, Sukhi, I become happy, Nivrataha, peaceful, Syat, iti etam eva artham, aha acharyavan purusho veda iti. And that is what is conveyed in that sentence, acharyavan purusho veda. That only one who has a acharya, one who has a teacher, will be able to reach the destination. So it's the most fascinating, most beautiful. Shankaracharya's Bhashya is so sweet and so direct and beautiful. So more about this we will see in our class on Wednesday. So till then you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana. Listen to the pravachan again. Contemplate, meditate, gain abidance in your own supreme self. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Bole Siyava Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.